Hi, lovely people. How are you today? My name is Dreya. I'm with Platinum Black Services, and today I just wanted to go over a quick tip on naming your corporation the right way. So, just in case you are in this part of your journey in starting a business, I just want to help you kind of go through this little hump because if you do not name your corporation the right way, you can face the state rejecting your articles of incorporation and then you'll have to start that process all over again. So I want to save you some time in doing this step the right way. And I have a client right now who is starting a business now. They don't want to go back to work. I don't blame them. We've had a year home, working from home during COVID. And, the new norm is starting to set in where a lot of people just want to work for themselves. They don't want to go back to an office and work for an employee and punch a clock in. Who can blame them? I'm one of them. So let's jump right into it. So, again, a quick introduction. My name is Dreya. Hey, I'm with Platinum Black Services. I have been running this company for the past, I want to say 15, 20 years. Started off doing bookkeeping for various clients in various industries. And then I wanted to kind of help out people on a more larger scale in starting a business. That's my passion. That's what I like to do, including I've owned a couple of other businesses in the past. And again, my mission is to help you start a business quickly and find profitable income streams because that's what it's about. You want to support yourself, you want to be happy, and you want to get your time back. All right. So my goal today is to help you do three things. And that is to help you name your corporation appropriately according to the state regulations. Each state has its own rules and requirements to follow. To learn where to go online in order to see if your business name is available to use within your state. And last, how, to do a business name search within your state. Now, as we go on, I first want to stop and do a pause and go over kill some myths about starting a corporation because I'm pretty sure a lot of you have weighed the options of starting an LLC versus a corporation. And either one, to be honest, is great to do. My only thing is an LLC is basically considered a disregarded entity in the eyes of the federal government. It's not a bad thing, but there are just some tax advantages and things that you don't get to have as an LLC versus a corporation unless you started an LLC and claimed to be a corporation or to be treated and taxed as a corporation, which I don't know. To me, it sounds kind of silly. You might as well just go ahead and be a corporation. That's just my personal opinion. But again, there's no right or wrong reason, and it still works out in the end, depending on, what you do and what you choose. So the first myth killer is you don't need, you might think you need a lot of money, but you don't need a lot of money to start a corporation. Not at all. The key thing, though, to starting a corporation is you just got to be very organized, especially from the beginning. So you're going to have corporate documents like articles of incorporation, your bylaws, and shareholders agreements, things like that. You want to just be very, very organized with those. Those are so important for tax season, tax time. And, hopefully you're not audited, but in case you are, you want to have those forms on hand and in order. Your books, your bookkeeping, your financial statements. My suggestion, I strongly recommend soon as you open up a business checking account or savings account or both, also run to your store or go online on Amazon and buy QuickBooks because the first dollar that you deposit into your bank it needs to be recorded, and then going forward it needs to be maintained. You have to track every single dollar that goes in and out of your business, and you don't want to wait until the last minute to kind of scramble around and get things in order, but it's just essential to make sure that you have everything in order, and then of course collect all your statements and keep those filed away. The goal is, or the requirement is to keep things on file for 7 years, at least 7 years. And then receipts. And of course, that's where your tax deductions come in. You want to make sure that you're saving a receipt for any and every expense business related and that qualifies as a tax deduction for your business. The next myth killer is you are not required to pay dividends. I think a lot of people decide to go the LLC route is because if I go the corporation route, oh, I'll be taxed twice. And that's not true because corporations, yes, they do pay dividends, but they're not required to pay dividends. That's just an incentive, which is used to kind of keep shareholders investing, pouring capital into the company, keeping it going. And by that time, if you're looking to pay dividends, by then you should have a really good CPA or CPA firm that's helping you through that process and knowing, how to be taxed and how to, get some benefits and kind of save you on that. And then the last myth killer is, oh, you have to be this, you shouldn't start a corporation unless you're, at the level of a Fortune 500 company. Again, that's not true. Every Fortune 500 company is doing the exact same thing that you're doing when you're starting your corporation. Don't let that intimidate you because you don't have to be a big name, a big brand right off, from jump. Even the founder of Apple started in his garage. So you don't have to, be on the same level as the big boys. You just need to start. And, the only difference is that they've been a corporation a lot longer. That's it. Okay, so general naming requirements for corporations, and this is just general across the board for any state in the United States. And that is you cannot use words that may mislead the public into thinking that the company that you're forming is formed other than for the purpose or the purpose listed or stated on your articles of incorporation. And there's about 4 rules to go over that goes into more detail about that. But just in general, you cannot start a business and list on your articles of incorporation that, hey, my business is like a professional commercial cleaning services. And then the next day you want to start a restaurant and use the same name. Nope, that's not going to fly. That's not going to work. All right, so the first rule in naming your corporation, you cannot imply that your corporation is a government entity, financial institution, or any other agency regulated by law without authorization. I'm sorry. So there are restricted words in general that you cannot use, such as bank, savings. You cannot say that your corporation is a trust or insurance company, a credit union, cooperative, etc. You just have to, go and read the forms for filing out a business for your articles of incorporation, and it'll give you a list of names that are restricted. But this is pretty much the general rule. Unless you are authorized and given permission to claim that your business is or one of these things, you cannot use that and you will be denied. Your application will be denied. All right, rule number 2, you cannot imply that your business offers professional services, which requires appropriate licensing by the state. So restricted words like CPA, engineer, attorney, things like that. You cannot say that you offer professional services as a certified public accountant, engineer, attorney, so on and so forth, if you are not licensed. Point blank, period. You cannot do that. That's illegal. And third rule, and we're going to expand the third rule a little bit more, which is you must use words that are distinguishable and not the same as or deceptively similar from another business name. Okay, so basically there are just rules in place that say if someone has this name already registered, you cannot register under that same name or something similar or close to it, which will again confuse the public into thinking that you are a different company or something of that nature where it confuses the public and they don't know who is who. In the state as well. All right, so good example. You cannot use punctuation, contractions, or abbreviations. They do not distinguish one name from another. And we're going to go through 6 quick examples. As you can see, example number 1, night and day is not distinguishable from night and the symbol day. It's just not. Number 2, Hill Supermarket is not distinguishable from Hills with apostrophe S supermarket. Still very, very similar, very close. Number 3, play, kind of like an abbreviation, P.L.A.Y. Inc. is not distinguishable from just saying the word play, Inc. Number 4, barnstormers is not distinguishable, from barnstormers with barn-stormers. Same thing. The state will not approve that name for you. Number 5, do not stop ink is not distinguishable from don't stop ink. Again, we're using that contraction from do not to don't. They're not going to accept it. It looks too similar. And last, Mr. Coffee, where you're spelling Mr. Mister LLC, it's not distinguishable from Mr. if you use the abbreviation or the prefix Mr. Mr. Period coffee. Again, it's too similar. They're not going to allow that and let you form a corporation under that name. Okay, another example is the use of an article such as the, a, or an, or such as and, but, or does not distinguish the name from another, nor does changing the entity's designation. So the first one, the first example, the big company, is not distinguishable if you want to use a big company. See, you cannot interchange the with a. It's not acceptable. And then as far as the entity's designation, and we'll go into that a little bit more, where it says Barnstormers LTD, which is an abbreviation for limited, is not distinguishable from the Barnstormers company, or CO dot, which is an abbreviation for company. They will not allow you to register under that. All right, so what can be used to distinguish the name? So numbers. So numbers within a name can be used to distinguish one name from another if the number is formatted differently in each name, along with adding more letters. So following example, number 1, Roman Investments 2, which is of course the Roman numeral, II, or 2, is distinguishable from if you use Roman investments and then the number 2, and investments 2 if you spell out the word 2. So they look at that as, different enough, distinguishable enough to say, okay, we can have 2 or more companies be registered in the state, with that being the differentiator. And then number 2, a plumbing is distinguishable between AA plumbing. So you just add another letter. Again, another example with the third example is ABC is distinguishable from AABC, ABBC, ABCC, ABCD, and AABBCC. They're all distinguishable from one another, and the state will allow you to register under those names. And also, reversing words or using a variation of the spelling can also be used to distinguish one name from another. So first example, energy first. You flip those or reverse or flip those words around, it will be distinguishable from first energy. And then if you kind of do a variation of spelling again, quickie, Quickie, Mart, is distinguishable from a different way of spelling quickie. So you just remove the QU and you add QWIKEE Mart, Quickie Mart, or another way of spelling Quickie Mart, and that is acceptable. All right, we're still on rule number 3, and just to wrap that up, a foreign language. If you use a foreign language name, that will not conflict with the English translation. It usually does not. For example, la flor, meaning the flower, when translated into English, that's fine. So you have one language that says the floor as la flor, and it can be registered and acceptable within the state because it's not the exact same word or spelling as the flower. And then just bottom line, at the end of the day, unacceptable words across all states will not be accepted and allow you to register your company. So if any name contains profanity or words or phrases that are generally considered a slur against an ethnic group, religion, gender, or hereditary, it is considered unacceptable right out the gate. Rule number 4, in naming your corporation, the name must always include an expressly authorized suffix, often referred to as an entity designator or entity indicator. So for the state of Rhode Island, if you are looking to form a corporation there, you can use one of the long suffix or abbreviations listed below, such as corporation, incorporated, company, or limited, or for short, Corp, Inc., Co., or Ltd. Next, we're going to move on to the fun part, and I'll switch screens in a few seconds. We'll go to a website to search for the business name availability, which is the Rhode Island Secretary of State's website. There, I'll show you how to do a business name search to see if the name is available or not. All right, now here's the fun part. I went online and I pulled up e-secretaryofstate.com. This is a great website because it provides quick links to the Secretary of State by state, forms to file your articles of incorporation, and then what we're about to do here is an entity name for your business. Entity name search for your business. Okay, so let's scroll down and find Rhode Island. Here we go, Rhode Island. We're going to click on entity search. Now, for enter name, we're just going to keep it simple and use Bob because as I did an example of a name search for every state, it seems that every state actually has a company with the name Bob in it. And everything else, all the other options, we're just going to leave as is and not change and click search. All right, so in the search results, here we go under entity name. The goal is to go through all the names under that list and see and compare if the name you want to use is either used already, like an exact match, or something very, very similar that could potentially prevent the state from reject, or that might cause the state to reject you using that name because it's so similar. Okay, so just go through the whole list, and if there are additional pages, make sure you click on all the pages to do a thorough search. All right, the next column to pay attention to as well is inactive status. Now, the search that we have used, we left the default to active if the company or the name is currently actively registered with the state and is in use. Therefore, if it has an inactive status, it will let you know if it's been revoked, or withdrawn or expired, so on and so forth. So for the most part, everything else, without the, with the exception of something being revoked or withdrawn or expired, everything else is pretty much active. All these companies and the names that are registered with the state of Rhode Island are active. Okay. So if, again, you find a company name that has been registered that's very similar or exact and is active, more than likely that name that you want to use is unavailable. Okay. Now let's go back to the previous tab. Now, let's say that your name is available. The next step, you'll have two options, okay? The first option is to reserve the business name. And what that does is place a temporary hold on the name for you to use until you're ready to file the articles of incorporation. And the temporary hold pretty much lasts between 90 to 120 days, give or take, depending on the state's rules within the application. So you'll just have to read it and you'll find out how long they'll hold the name for you until you're ready to file the articles of incorporation. Or you can bypass that first option and do option two, which is to actually file the articles of incorporation to form the business within Rhode Island. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that in the forms you'll need to use. So let's come back to Rhode Island and click on forms. All right, now this website's a little tricky, so I'm going to help you maneuver through this. So remember, option one was to just reserve the name to place a temporary hold. Okay, so let's scroll down. And in order to place that hold and to reserve the name, we're going down to where it says for RI businesses or Rhode Island businesses, and we're going to select start a new business. All right. Now, what's really nice is they give you kind of like the steps of how to start or register your business with the state. So we're going to come down to step 2, and where it says business corporation, we're going to click on file online. I know it's additional steps, but I'll take you to exactly where you need to go in order to reserve the name. All right, now in this new screen, we're going to select File New Business Entity. Okay, and again, scroll down a little bit under where it says Domestic Profit Corporation. Here's where you'll find reservation of entity name. Click on that link and it'll take you through the process of filling out the application. There's going to be a fee, so make sure you submit a fee to be processed, and then the state of Rhode Island will reserve and hold that name for you. Okay, so that's option 1. Option 2 is to actually file the articles of incorporation. Now you have 2 different types of corporations, and I'll break that down for you. So you have a domestic corporation, and then you have a foreign corporation. The difference between the 2 is a domestic corporation means that you're establishing the business within Rhode Island with a primary location or address within Rhode Island, a Rhode Island address, okay, for the business. you are considered a domestic corporation in that situation. Now, the category of foreign corporation means you've already established the corporation outside of Rhode Island, maybe like in California, Georgia, New York, but now you want to have a presence and you're going to use a Rhode Island address to establish a presence to be able to transact business legally within Rhode Island. Okay, that is called a foreign corporation. So back to domestic corporation. If you fall under under those guidelines, we're in the right screen, you want to click right here, Articles of Incorporation. So you'll click that link, go through the application process as far as completing everything, submit the fee to be processed, the state of Rhode Island will register your business, and then you're good to go. Now, to find the application for the foreign corporation, we're going to have to go back a few steps. Okay, so we'll just go back. Okay, actually, we'll close out and then close out that window as well. And go back to the screen where we clicked on forms and where we originally clicked on for RI businesses. We're actually going to go to for foreign businesses and click the link right here where it says register your business in Rhode Island. All right. Again, it gives you a nice kind of outline step by step on how to form your foreign corporation to be established within Rhode Island. And we'll scroll down to step 3, and you want to choose this option, which is Foreign Business Corporation. And this is a PDF file, so you don't have an online version. It's a PDF application. So just open the link, print it off, fill it out, attach the fee that's required, submit it to the Secretary of State of Rhode Island, and then they'll register your business as a foreign corporation, which will then allow you to conduct business and transactions within the state. And then you're good to go. All right, guys, I want to thank you for your time. I'm glad that I was able to help you. So by the end of this video, you should now know the requirements of naming your corporation by state. You should also know where to find the website, the Secretary of website for your state in order to do a business name search, and also how to do the name search. And the next step would be to also either reserve the name or to go ahead and file the articles of incorporation. In closing, I just want to suggest, checking out my website. If you go to platinumblackservices.com, I greatly appreciate it. I have some more tools and tips to provide for you. If you scroll down, I have some free stuff. Check out the free stuff. Items such as 7 things you need to maintain your corporate veil protection is a free webinar. Another free webinar, 9 legal corporate documents every corporation must have on hand. Also, a quick and dirty guide to corporation filing requirements is a free ebook. And last, a fill-in-the-blank business plan guide. If you don't have a business plan already, it's good to go ahead and grab that as you're forming your corporation with the state, filing the forms and getting established. All of this is free. Now, next, I also want to let you know that I have 2 kits that are all-inclusive, and it will help you meet specific goals in your journey as you're establishing your corporation within the state that you choose. And the first one is the Quick Business Kickoff, the Incorporator Starter Kit. And it's just a couple of files for $10. You get some really good checklists and files and forms to fill out that will help you cross all your T's and dot all your I's in the beginning stages of forming your corporation. If you need more information, more in-depth starter kit that also provides your articles of incorporation, your corporate bylaws, shareholders agreements, shareholder certificate, dissolution forms. I have a really great comprehensive package. It's professional. The forms are in Word and PDF, so you can immediately download them, customize them, add your logo, and use them as needed and fill in the information that is customized to your situation. Down here, it's the Corporate Formation Starter Kit for the state of, and you just select whatever state that you're in. Right now, I have a special offer. It's if you use the code START NOW, you'll get $60 off. Currently, a kit is $99. You receive over 150 forms. Again, they're all downloadable and easy and quick to use. But right now, with $60 off, I'm giving you a discount of $39. And you can get started right away. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you've learned what you needed to learn or what needed to know in order to do a business name search for your corporation, and also how to reserve the name or to go ahead and file the articles of incorporation, depending on if you are a domestic corporation or foreign corporation. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.